Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another After Pill live stream. And y'all already knew I was coming with this one, man. Y'all already knew I was coming with this one. Listen, it is predictable at this point. I've already told y'all. What is going on. I already told y'all. I gave y'all, snippets of what's going on in the global order. I've already told you this already. The global order is shifting. The global order is shifting. Countries are redoing and rethinking how they conduct business, including the United States. United States, it needs something to feed on. United States is a monster. Okay, just think of America as a monster. Just think of America as the big bad wolf. Right? America needs something to feed it. America cannot go on unless something feeds it. AKA another country, AKA another war, AKA stealing resources, AKA neocolonialism, AKA imperialism. Whatever word choice you want to use, it's all of them. It's all of them at once. But as more people pour in, go ahead and hit that like button, because we want to get down to the nitty gritty. I got about a good hour. With you guys. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some things that may be my opinion, right? And we're going to talk about some things that you just can't deny is factual, right? So first and foremost, this is like the title says, this is bigger than Venezuela, right? The Black Anglo-Saxon says facts. Nation states need to either feed on or extract other nations or their own population. Absolutely. And as you can see, listen, America's already trying to run us dry, right? So that's first and foremost. That's hard to. That's not a if and a but. That is what is happening. America's literally draining itself dry. It's literally, like, I don't know how else to put it. America is literally draining itself dry. It's becoming harder and harder for the regular everyday citizens to make it in everyday life. More and more U.S. citizens are living paycheck to paycheck. There are no jobs available, right? In actuality, there are more people looking and searching for jobs than there are available for the first time in history. So you have a bunch of people laid off. You see what happened with the Tyson plant. You see what's been happening with the federal jobs. You see what's been happening in the private industry. There's been layoff after layoff after layoff, and there are no jobs available. None at all. So the United States is already draining its citizens dry. Yep, cough up that money. We're going to tax y'all to infinity, right? We're gonna tax y'all on your payroll taxes. And then guess what? When it's time to pay your bills, guess what? We're gonna tax you on your car insurance. We're gonna tax you on your water bill. We're gonna tax you on the gasoline that you put in the car to get to work. And then we're gonna tax you some more when you want to eat. We're gonna tax you some more when you want to go to the hospital. We're gonna tax your health insurance too. We're gonna tax your life insurance too. We're gonna tax you to oblivion. We're going to tax your ass into oblivion. And guess what? On top of that, we're not going to do anything that you ask us to do. You want us to stay out of war? No, we're not going to do that, buddy. Oh, you want us to work for you? No, fuck you. You work for us. This is literally what the government is doing right now. Right? They're saying, F you, United States citizens, you work for us. You belong to us. You're our indentured servants. You don't get any say so. Go to work and shut up. Oh, you don't have a job? That's too bad. But on top of United States draining itself dry, and the reason why, before I even get into that, to my second point, The reason why America is going full force with draining its citizens dry, one, is because, listen, many people don't want to accept this. America is a dying empire. The writing is on the wall. America is a dying empire. So what do dying empires do? What happens when the empire is dying? Guess what? They started flailing their arms. They started flailing their arms like, I ain't going out like that. I'll be down. We've been dominating. We've been dominating for how many centuries? We've been dominating this motherfucking planet. And I'll be damned if China, I'll be damned if Japan, I'll be damned if Russia come in this bitch and try to take my place. I'll be damned. I'll be damned if Venezuela think you ain't about to do business with us. All right, we got something for y'all ass. Y'all think this shit a game. Y'all think this shit a game? All right, watch this. Watch this. I'm about to knock Venezuela ass upside. Bow! Whole world just looking like, oh shit. Well, America, it's like you intermediate in boxing, but you think because Mike Tyson, 65 years old, that you about to get in there and just whoop Mike Tyson ass. No, not necessarily. No, not necessarily. Your ass get in that ring with Tyson with intermediate boxing skills. Mike Tyson at 65 will knock your stupid ass out. Okay? So don't get it misconstrued. Listen, America's a dying empire, but one thing that we still have, and you know, you just gotta respect it. I respect it. I served in the military, so I respect, you know, everything that comes with the military. We still have the most powerful military in the world. We still have the strongest military in the world, right? We have one of the largest military in the world. China is the largest military in the world, but we still have one of the largest militaries in the world, and we still have the most advanced military in the world. Everything can be dying around us, right? Everything can be dying around us. That's why they keep pushing. That's why, listen, American citizens could be dying in the street. One thing that they're gonna make sure that's good is that military budget. One thing that America's gonna make sure is good is that military budget, right? That's why they keep increasing it. That's why they keep going up. Hey, going up and up, right? But America's a dying empire. So it's draining its citizens, and also, since it's a dying empire, it's trying to grab onto whatever it can grab onto. So listen, Venezuela is a complex situation. Many people just see the surface. Many people just see the surface, right? Oh, you're going in there and you just kidnapped a sitting president, right? Or you went in there, oh, it's about oil. It's about many things, right? First and foremost, Maduro is not innocent. Let's get that clear. Let's get that very clear. Maduro is not innocent. He has been committing human rights violations. He has been locking up opponents. He has been locking up and torturing his citizens who may not agree with him, protesters and whatnot, right? And he is actually not the democratically elected person that Venezuelans actually elected. So let's get that clear. I don't support Maduro, right? I don't support Maduro, right? Because he is a shitbag, right? He is a shitbag. So Maduro can dive off a cliff for all I care. So he has not been for Venezuelans at all, right? He has not been conducting fair elections at all, right? Let me go ahead and put these moderations on because people want to come in here. They're about to come in here and start talking. What'd I do? Community moderations. Let's go ahead and put this on subscriber only mode. There we go. So Maduro's not innocent. Maduro's not innocent. However, it's just not about human rights violation. The same with Nigeria. We're gonna get on that because Nigeria, what was going on with Nigeria when the U.S. uh, alongside Nigerian forces were bombing alleged ISIS members on the north of Nigeria. Nigeria and Venezuela is connected. And I'm gonna tell you how, right? The backstory of Venezuela, right? It's not really about the human rights violation. It is, but it isn't, right? Because more, if that's the case, a whole bunch of countries, including the United States, should be held accountable, right? It's not just about the human rights violation. And many people will say oil. Oh, it's about the oil. It's about the oil. Yes, it definitely is about the oil, but not in the way that you think, right? So on top of the U.S. being a dying empire, Venezuela years ago had kicked out many of the U.S. corporations. So we're talking about people like Exxon, Chevron, right? U.S. corporations that make America America. So they kicked out these companies, right? Venezuela wanted to do his own thing. They're like, man, look, we're not just about to be operating on we're not about to be operating the way that you want us to operate. We want to operate how we want to operate, right? And they chose to, go into a socialist, state, right? Y'all can debate about yourselves amongst that. I'm not a socialist, right? I am a capitalist, by the way. But they decided to go into a socialist state. So for whatever reason, they decided to, with this oil money, we're going to divvy it up amongst the citizens. And we see how that went. Venezuela's end up being at a 70%, 80% poverty rate. I mean, it's ridiculous. But on top of that, China. See, it's always, listen, when stuff like this happen, you got to understand that there's other powers at play, other world powers at play. So China has a lot to do with Venezuela. And allegedly Chinese officials were in Venezuela to talk to Maduro a few days prior to United States going in and skinny popping, dropping bombs, and go ahead and scooping Maduro up, right? And on top of that, Venezuela has been sending oil to Iran. And you know who owns the United States now. Come on now. You know who owns the United States. You can't be, listen, you know who owns the United States. You know those people who own the United States. Tisrael, come on now. United States, Tisrael like, hey, my boy, U.S., you not paying attention? Why is Venezuela sending Iran oil? What's going on over there? United States shaking his boots. We don't know. We're dealing with a lot right now. We're trying to, we're not as savvy as we used to be with, surveilling the whole world. Just work with us. Well, I'm telling your ass that Venezuela is sending Iran oil. So yeah, you might want to go check on that shit before, you seen what we did. All right. So you might want to go check on that. Why the hell is Venezuela sending Iran oil? Right? So with that being said, Iran is clearly in opposition of Israel. So why the hell is Venezuela sending sending Iran oil? And then on top of that, the Chinese has been more influential in the global South, and the United States is like, oh hell no, oh hell, and then rightfully so. Imagine your enemies like sitting right in your backyard. Like, I get it. You wouldn't want Chinese influence in your backyard. I get it. So the Chinese has been, this has been 10, 20 years at this point. The Chinese has been increasing, their influence in the global South for many different reasons. And one of those reasons is this reason right here. This is what the United States does. They go into countries, right? They put motherfuckers in the headlock like, yeah, you said what? You want some You want some patriotism? You want some democracy in this bitch? They go in countries, hold them hostage. Like, you want some democracy? Yeah, you come any closer, we're going to give your ass some democracy too. So they always holding people hostage, right? Saying that they're going to establish democracy. But let me ask you this. Please name a country and please name an administration throughout history where the United States has stepped in and they put in whoever they wanted to put in. Tell me when that has worked. When has that worked? What? Name a country. Cuba, right? You seen what happened to Cuba? I mean, the list goes on. I can't even name it up top of my head right now. But name a country where this has worked. It has never worked. At the end of the day, the people of those countries end up working it out amongst themselves. That's just the fact of the matter. Right? So the reason why the Chinese has been able to increase influence in the global South, right, is because they're not trying to bully people into doing business with them. United States wants to threaten people with sanctions. United States wants to threaten people, blowing your head off. Oh, you the leader over there? Okay, F that. We're going to come in there and we're going to stage a coup. We're going to stage a coup and get you up out of there. Right? That's been the legacy of America. The Chinese do not care about your politics. The Chinese said, okay, you need a loan? We got you. Oh, you need some infrastructure? Okay, here's how we do business, right? Here's the interest rate. Boom. This will give you this amount of money for your economy, but we expect this, at the first of the month. Right? Silver America said, it doesn't even work here inside the United States. Exactly. Right? MSK said, I think it's about stopping China from buying cheap oil. No, well, United States is running out of oil. We're running out of oil reserves. That's the truth. We're running out of oil reserves, and the United States don't want to switch to not being dependent on your oil. When you go to other places, and I've watched a ton of videos, and soon enough I'm gonna get to a lot of these places. But when you start traveling, for those of you who travel, when you start traveling, you're gonna realize how much America has propagandized its citizens. When you start traveling and you start seeing other countries' infrastructure, when you start traveling and start seeing how robust, right, their infrastructure is, right, their public transit systems, their roads. When you start traveling and seeing this stuff, you're gonna be like, bro, what the fuck are we doing in the United States? Where the hell is our tax money going? Where's our tax money going? When we can go to a quote unquote third world, right? It's supposed to be quote unquote a third world, but then when you go to the quote unquote third world, hell, it looks like they doing mighty fine over here. It looks like to me, but it's supposed to be a third world, right? Listen, if you take away the United States credit system, if you take that shit away, listen, United States would very much fall into many of those categories that they like to claim other people to be, or other countries to be, right? But the United States is running out of oil reserves, right? United States is running out of oil reserves. United States still want to be dependent on oil, right? And oil can be used for many different things, many different aspects. But ultimately, United States don't want Venezuela, with the largest oil reserves in the world, doing business with China, doing business with Iran, doing business with Russia, right? They don't want that. And for obvious reasons. Right? For obvious reasons. But then on the flip side, when you talk about a country's own sovereignty, right? When you talk about a country's own sovereignty, you would think that the United States would respect international law like they tell everybody else to do. Well, I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not even picking sides, because I understand it completely. But United States is basically saying rules for thee and not for me. So while the United States are always telling people to abide by international law, well, the United States can go breaking laws and all kinds of shit as long as it benefits them. As long as whatever is being done benefits the United States, they're like, hell, send the troops in. They need a taste of democracy. Every single time. So it's bigger than Venezuela. So what's going on is what I've been telling y'all, for a minute now, is that the global world order is shifting. And it's not shifting in the United States' favor. The global world order is not shifting in the United States' favor. And the United States see that. So this is the United States in panic mode right now. Right? And you should be well aware of what people or what anybody would do when they're in panic mode. When a company is in panic mode, what do? Or they consolidate, they start selling stocks off, right? They start laying off people. That's what a company does when they start panicking. When those losses start coming in, that's what a company do. Okay, we need to save the company. Okay, how many stocks can we sell off? All right, sell all those stocks off. Okay, how many people can we lay off? Okay, we're going to lay off 100 people. We may lay off another 100 people the next quarter. Okay, what else can we do? Okay, we have to do this. All right, send them in. All right, we need to account for this too. All right, send those in too. All right, we got to reduce pay. All right, reduce pay too. So that's what a company would do if they're trying to save face and they're trying to save their company. So what do you think the United States is doing when they're trying to save face and when they're trying to save the country, right? They're trying to do everything that they can to save the country. And we're in a really bad spot that many people are not speaking on, right? The politicians, they're not going to tell you how deep shit we're in. They're not going to tell you how far on the deep end that we're in. Because if they really told you how bad shit is in the United States right now, many people will panic. Many people will panic. And the fact of the matter is, it's written everywhere. It's no hiding this, right? The United States is running out of money. The United States is losing political authority, or they're losing influence, right, that they once had over the world, and countries are sick of it. And this right here, this just solidified that sickness, right? This just, like it or love it. Like I said, I'm not picking sides. I understand why Maduro needs to be removed. I understand why Maduro needs to be removed. I understand that even many Venezuelans want this, right? Y'all got to understand, Venezuela it was sitting in a 70 to 80% poverty rate. They were sitting in a 70 to 80% poverty rate. Yeah, that ninja needed to go. He obviously is not looking out for his own citizens, but it is the way that the United States is going about it, and they're using it as an excuse to basically colonize Venezuela. So I don't know if you've been keeping up with the latest news, but Trump is basically saying, we're going to go in there and we're going to run the country. That's basically what he said. And he said this in his speech too. He said that, Venezuela does have the largest oil reserves in the U.S., and they took those oil reserves from us. Basically, he's talking about oil rights. So which I talked about earlier, which Venezuela kicked U.S. companies out of Venezuela. They kicked many U.S. companies, oil companies, out of Venezuela. So United States essentially lost those oil rights, right? You got to understand, the largest oil reserve sitting right in your backyard. And basically you're a bully. Essentially. You're a bully, and you're saying, so you're going to give it to Iran? I know you ain't about to, you should have sold something to Russia? All right, this ninja playing with us. All right, watch this. Oh, now China? Oh, hell yeah. Go in there, guns blazing. Get that ninja up out of there. But mind you, this is not something that began with Trump. This is not something that began with Trump. Many people thinking that this is some new news or something like, no, this is not new news. United States has been trying to basically sabotage Venezuela and get into Venezuela for about 20 years. So Ninja, I was still damn near pissing in the bed around that time, right? So they've been trying to infiltrate Venezuela at least for the past 20 years. So this is not new news. This is not new news. This is finally an escalation, right? Y'all gotta understand. United States, they keep things at bay. So they kept it in their back pocket. Okay, push come to shove, and this don't happen. All right, we're just gonna go in guns blazing in Venezuela. Right? They got the largest oil reserves, right? We gave them 20 years to cooperate, right? We gave them 20 years, like we gave them different, come on now, we gave them different incentives, right? To give us a piece of that oil, to give us a majority of the oil. All right, they not listening. All right. Venezuela ain't listening. All right. M16s. All right, M4s. Let's go in. They're not listening. See, this is what just happened. They went in guns blazing, M16s, M4s, and they got that ninja up out of there. So what does this mean for individuals, the U.S. citizens, right? What does this mean? One, our passport rating has already dropped. So that dropped months and months ago. We dropped out of the top 10 passport ratings. So once again, we're thrown into a bad spot to where now the world is looking at us like, those Americanos, muy malo, Americanos. And you know, on the flip side, you have some celebrating, Venezuelans celebrating, because you got to understand their dilemma too, where they came from. And, you know, Venezuela is a socialist state. So, you know, there's many different storylines for this. And that is a perfect disguise. That is a perfect disguise for the United States to be able to go in and, you know, do what they do. Right? Jay Garcia says Israel versus Iran part 2 will cause major oil shortages. We needed to lock down Venezuela's resources to prevent this, right? I don't know too much on that, but, you know, I appreciate that. Right? So that's another thing. So like I said, it's deeper than just, you know, what the surface is. And let's get this clear. Let's get this very clear. It was never about drugs. That come on now. If y'all fell for that, it was never about drugs. It was never, ever about drugs. Ever. Because one, Venezuela is not a major pusher of drugs into the United States. We already know who's the major pusher of drugs in the United States. So that'll be Mexico and that'll be Colombia. All right. And then the ninja, he freed, oh boy, what was he? Was that Nicaragua? He freed the president, a past president, who was convicted of narco terrorism, essentially. He freed him. So I'm not understanding. They probably freed him. And to be honest, when they do stuff like that, he's probably an informant. He probably comes out and has to be an informant or something like that. If they free you out the feds, like they did, like that, nah, you an informant. You got to be an informant. There's no way about it. There's no way around that. You got to be an informant. So they did that. Listen, so if we really wanted to tackle drugs, which we already failed at already, the war on drugs lasted, 20 years? And it was the wrong fight. So the war on drugs was a war on U.S. citizens, in particular, U.S. citizens who were in poverty, stayed in projects, minorities. That's what the war on drugs was about. And that failed. It was a total flop. So please tell me how the United States plan on fixing the drug issue, because it's really not about who's pushing the drugs. Yeah, sure, limit availability, but listen, if you know anything about mankind is going to get his hands on whatever he wants to get his hands on. And that means if mankind wants to get high, he's going to get high. If mankind wants some punani, he's going to get himself some punani. So Mexico has already been, we know the drugs are coming through Mexico. We know that. We know the drugs. We know the drugs. A lot of drugs are coming from Colombia. But let's not get it twisted and confused either. United States is well aware, and has always been well aware of how the drugs are getting in. They're not coming in through no goddamn on tunnels. They're not coming through, smuggling through little smugglers. No, most of the drugs, and this is a verified stat. This is a verified stat. You can go look it up. The majority of the drugs that come through the United States is coming straight through. They're coming straight through the border. No, they're not sidestepping the border. No, they're not going through tunnels. They're going straight through, which means this is way deeper than just people think. They're going straight through border control. They're going straight through stops. They're going straight through. That's the majority. That's how majority of the drugs get in. But to tackle the drug issue, you have to tackle why so many Americans want to be high. What is going on in America to the point where everybody wants to be high? Why do Americans want to be high on fentanyl? Why do Americans want to be high on cocaine? Why do Americans want to shoot heroin up their arms? Why? If we don't tackle that issue, we'll never tackle a drug issue. It's impossible. Right? It's impossible. If you don't tackle the structural issues, the environmental issues that are causing, especially when you talk about young teens, right, who are overdosing at astronomical rates, it's not about the fentanyl. It's not about the fentanyl. Because if it was about the fentanyl, it'll be about everything else. It'll be about every other drug as well. But no, it's not about the fentanyl. Why do Americans want to escape in that kind of way? Many people know the effects of fentanyl. I've watched documentary like on this. Many of them know the effects of fentanyl. They still take it anyway. Many of them understand that they could be on the brink of death, but that's what makes fentanyl so addictive because they love being on the brink of death. They love the possibility of dying. That's a whole different topic. Right? MSK, CIA, they know this stuff already. All this shit is propaganda. Drugs, all this stuff is a ploy. Do you really think the United States, they can go in there and scoop up Maduro, right? They can go and do everything else across the world. But you're telling me they don't know how drugs are getting in? Please. You telling me that they don't know that the majority of drugs are coming straight through the border, man? Please. Unless our government is really that fucking stupid, which I do believe too. Our government is fucking retarded, right? And slow and behind for sure. But they're either that or just complacent, or they're also in cahoots with the people who are pushing the drugs. And documentaries have told us this. Released files, right, have told us this, right? We knew what the government was doing in the 80s and the 60s. We knew throughout that whole time period. The United States poured money behind drugs coming into the United States. But now, then, decades later, they wanted to do a war on drugs. Well, y'all caused the issue. Y'all put money behind it. So everything that they say, everything that comes out their mouth is propaganda and lies, essentially. Most of the things that the government is talking about, they're just lying. They're trying to save face. Jamin B says, when can we expect gas prices to go down? Our taxes going up, food prices due to funding military to control Venezuela. Listen, it ain't no escaping it. United States going to do what the United States do. But y'all just got to understand, don't take it personal. United States, they're trying to save face. And Venezuela was also a posturing move. It was a move to just, show military capabilities, right? They wanted to show off like, yeah, y'all, one of y'all niggas get wrong. All right, y'all see how easy it was for us to go in there and get Maduro. All right? Ching Pong Ying, you see that? Kim Pong Jong, you see that? Putin, you see what we did? All right? Y'all keep playing with us if y'all want to. Y'all keep playing with us if y'all want to. We're gonna come in there and get one of you ninjas. United States wouldn't do that to China, right? United States wouldn't do that to Russia. For shit show wouldn't do that to Putin. Like, we know, and for sure wouldn't do that to Kim Jong-un, because why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it? Because they know that China will go upside their mother flipping head if they ever thought that they'll come into any space of theirs and kidnap or overthrow Kim Jong-un. Why haven't they done that to Kim Jong-un? Right? If you want to talk about human rights violations and stuff like that, you want to talk about Kim Jong trying to get nuclear capabilities, and has many times said that we want to destroy the United States. I haven't heard Venezuelans. I don't know on record of Venezuela saying that they wanted to destroy the United States. Never on record said that. Never. Ever, ever. But Kim Jong-un, he said multiple times, we want to blow the United States into smithereens. We never went into North Korea and dethroned him. I wonder why. I wonder why. This is payback. Venezuela kicked out ExxonMobil 30 years ago when they nationalized their oil. Yep, that's why I said that earlier. So, like I said, Venezuela kicked out U.S. companies decades ago, right? Because they wanted to nationalize their oil. And basically, this is where the whole socialist, administration come in at. They wanted to divvy it up amongst the citizens, but you see how that worked, right? The elites, the elite Venezuelans end up just taking the money for themselves, and now you got a 70 to 80% poverty rate. So I get it, and I also get why the United States don't want any other foreign influence in their territory. But then you can't be trying to tell China, oh, you can't have Taiwan. Taiwan is in their backyard. So, like, that's why I said the rules for thee and not for me. So you can go in, basically invade. You can go in and invade Venezuela. Whatever word or term you want to use, it was an invasion. Right? You can go do that to Venezuela. But you telling China that they can't go and pick up Taiwan? All right. See, now it's just opening up a can of worms. It's opening up a can of worms that nobody wants to be open. Right? So now United States is essentially seizing oil from Venezuela. Right? They're seizing oil. They're trying to stop Chinese influence. They don't want oil in our region, in our hemisphere, being sold to China, Iran, Russia. We don't want oil being sold to our adversaries, clearly, right? So they're going in and saying, "Hey, we're gonna run this show, and then we'll let y'all know how we go." All right, that's what they're doing. But all in all, United States is losing dominance, and Venezuela is one of those places where they have been a adversary for the longest, for over 20 years at this point. And this is a way to show muscle. So now the United States is showing muscle, but it's not even showing muscle. Like I said, we do have the strongest military. We do have the most advanced military in the world. However, it's all show. Not saying that we can't blow shit into smithereens. What I'm saying is it's all show. Everything else is falling apart. Our institutions are falling apart, right? The population is falling apart. Socially, we're falling apart. The United States citizens have no money. The United States is drying up. The money's drying up. I've told y'all this many times, plenty of times. The global world order is shifting. This is a last-minute attempt to try to save face. That is it. And the United States is doing that with Venezuela, trying to show muscle. But and the United States is also trying to regain respect. But this is not the way that you regain respect, unfortunately. Because the way that the rest of the world is looking at it as, well, You're violating. You keep telling everybody else that they're violating sovereign nations, right? You told Russia, isn't Ukraine a sovereign nation? But Russia went into Ukraine. Russia went into Ukraine probably for the same reasons, for similar reasons why the United States is doing what they're doing to Venezuela. Similar reasons, right? Russia is also one of those places. Dying empire, right? Dying empire, and they're trying to save face as well. That's why they joined up with BRICS. Brazil, Russia, what's that? Iran, China, and South Africa, and many more actually. I think they've added more to the BRICS uh, organization. So that's what that's about. So this is where everything starts shifting. But what the United States is doing that BRICS isn't doing is ostracizing itself from the rest of the world. See, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. This is what the United States is going to learn, unfortunately. I hate it. I hate that it got to be that way, but it is that way. The writing is on the wall, right? The bigger you are, the harder you fall. You've been a big brother. You've been the so-called global police for how long now? Right? You've been a global police for how long now? But then everybody see you, everybody respected you because at least to some extent you abided by the rules that you help implement, that you help push across the world. But now it seems like, oh, when you hit a rough spot, oh, the rules don't matter, huh? Well, it's not like America ever followed the rules in the first place. Let's be honest. America never followed the rules in the first place. At least they halfway did. They halfway followed the rules. But now when push comes to shove, United States backed up in the corner. United States is basically saying, fuck the rules, right? We starving. That's basically what the United States is saying. Fuck the rules. We starving, man. Hey, man, we starving. Venezuela, go ahead and cough up that oil, man. Go ahead and cough up that oil, man. Go ahead and cough up that oil. The United States is not a country. It's an empire. No country does this shit. No country does the shit that we do. Like I say again, when you travel different places, you're going to see how different it is. Right? And I was just talking to a guy about this yesterday, actually last night. He stayed in Argentina. He stayed in Argentina for about 3 months. But he had to come back because he ran out of money. He got to go to work. That's neither here nor there. But we were just talking about, how much traveling has expanded our mind. And we were talking about like how much the United States is just not a country. When you travel elsewhere to other places, right, it's literally a country. Like you feel the energy, right? It's a spiritual element to the countries, right? It's a togetherness. And not saying that everybody has it good, or not saying that, oh, it's all perfect and everything. That's not what I'm saying. But there are human elements. There are visible and clearly felt elements when you travel somewhere to different countries and you see it. It's in the air, you breathe it, you can sense it. It's an energetic feeling. And that's what me and him were talking about. And, another guy, he's from Nepal. And, he came over to Nepal. He came over to the United States when he was 18, and his English is damn near perfect. But he was just saying, like, like he liked the United States for business and for money, but this is not a place where, he would say that, it's a country, or it's, there's some form of togetherness or even a human element to the country. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact. The United States isn't a country. And for those of you who think that the United States is a country, you never travel. And people will be like, yeah, if you go to Africa and then come back and then tell me how you feel. Like, bro, those statements are like 100 years old. Are there places in Africa where it's a no-go zone? And there's poverty and there's crime and things. Yeah, just like in Texas. There's places in Dallas, Texas that I would not go. There's places in Los Angeles that I would not go. There's places in Alabama that I would not go. There's places in Florida that I would not go. It's the same everywhere. But people talk about other countries as if like, Yeah, you don't want to go over there. I heard they poor. Ninja, you poor. Ninja, like, what we talking about? You poor. Right? But when people usually talk about the differences between America and other countries, all they're talking about is the US dollar. That's it. That's it. That's all that they're usually talking about. Right? All that they're talking about is the convenience to be able to go to Whataburger and be a fat slopaloposaurus. That's all they're talking about. They're just talking about the convenience of being able to order on Amazon and to get your package in 24 hours. That's all that they're talking about. When people are talking about how great America is, they're usually just talking about the ability of business formation. They're talking about the ability to make money in the USD, right? And they're talking about the opportunity that exists in the United States to be able to make said money. That's all that they're usually talking about. As far as anything else, no. Come on, bro. No. And I'm honest. I'm dead honest. And I served my country. I did my time. What you do? Nada. Not a goddamn thing. So with me, right? I'm not Mr. Patriotic. Fuck all that shit. I'm not Mr. Patriotic. I'm not Mr. I'm gonna die for my country. Hell no. Hey, y'all get Broski up out of here, man. Hey, go send him to the front line. I'm gonna die about my country. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, you heard him, right? Yeah, go ahead and send that nigga to the front lines. Yeah. We need, yeah, you right. You right. Yeah. Yeah, you'll die for this. Yeah, I'll die for my country. Yeah, go ahead and send that motherfucker over there. Yeah, we need him. Yeah, he about to bust heads. Yeah, we need that boy right there. Right? He gonna shoot first. Shoot first and ask questions later. Yeah, we need guys like that. Yeah, we need crash outs. Send all the crash outs to the front lines. I agree. But I am not so patriotic to where I'm delusional. I'm not patriotic to the point where like I can't see what is going on and I can't analyze where we're headed. If you're patriotic to the point where you're unwilling to make certain changes, you're unwilling to uproot yourself and to possibly go somewhere else or to save yourself, right? Then hell, to hell with you, right? Shit, even the Confederates did it. Ninja, when they said, "Oh, y'all freeing the slaves?" Oh, hell no. Y'all said y'all freeing the slaves, right? When the Civil War was over and they found out that the slaves getting free, they was like, "Oh man. Oh man. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and head down to Brazil. We heard they still got slaves down there. So we're gonna head down. All right, boys. All right. We no longer have the niggers. We no longer have the niggers up under control anymore. We no longer have them, so it's gonna be a tough time. And it's gonna be a rough ride. But we're going to Brazil. We heard that they still got them boys up in chains down there. Right? We still heard that they got the Portuguese said, I sent the letter. And they wrote back months later. But they said that they still have some capital down there. They said that the ship's still coming in down there in Brazil. All right, so we're gonna head down to Brazil, and we're gonna get us some slaves because this is not they're messing up our way of life. They're messing up our way of life here in America. So we're gonna go down to Brazil, and we're gonna call it Confederate. No, what did they call it? They call them Confederados. They're the Confederados now, right? So even the Confederates, they were like, hell no, y'all messing up. I mean, y'all fucking up shit. Man, hell no. We about to go down to Brazil. We heard they still got slaves down there, all right? And they went down to Brazil. They enjoyed the little slavery for about, maybe a year, 2, 5 years. I don't know the dates. But then slavery was abolished in Brazil. They was like, God damn it. God damn it. Not again. Not again. So even the Confederados, right? as much evil and atrocity that happened during that time period, even they got the hell up out of America and said, Ninja, we going to Brazil. They was like, hell no, we about to uproot and go to Brazil. So they were already traitors in the first place, right? Treason. I believe that anybody, this is a food for thought. Honestly, I believe anybody flying a Confederate flag, I believe any kind of Confederate paraphernalia being sold, I feel like everybody should be tried for treason. That's how I feel about it. Because they were treasoners, they were traitors to the United States of America, and never mind, I was about to say something crazy. They all should be, you should be locked up and tried for treason. Yeah, that ain't, to me, the Confederate flag is not freedom of speech. The Confederacy represented treason, traitors, losers. And it was a time period that didn't even exist that long. Niggas wanna fly the loser flag. This is our way of life. This was our way of life. It ain't about slavery, Ninja. It was about slavery. Ninja trying to reinvent here. It wasn't about slavery. We accepted everybody in the Confederacy. We accepted everybody. Like, hey man, lock them niggas up, man. Try their ass for treason. Anywhere else, so crazy. Anywhere else in the world, motherfuckers will be tried for treason. Anywhere else, your ass will be locked up and thrown in jail for pulling that stupid ass shit. But only in America, under the freedom of speech, right? That you can fly a fucking Confederate flag of losers and fucking traitors. Yeah, digest that shit. Digest that shit. So don't talk to me about, don't you love your country? Ninja, I served my country. Ninja, I done everything that I could do. Now I'm about to Scooby-Doo up out of here, Ninja. I'm about to Scooby-Doo, and I'm about to get on with whatever the global world order is doing, and I'm about to put myself in place so I can receive resources, so I can receive money, so I can be ahead of the game. I don't have time with you losers. I don't have time with you ninjas who don't want to uproot yourself. I don't have time for you ninjas who, well, just give it time. Just give it time. The United States, bro, I didn't say the United States wasn't going to be here. The United States will cease to be whatever you thought it was. That's what I'm saying. So ninjas still saying, well, just give Trump some time. Bro, do you know what's coming after Trump? Do y'all know what's coming after Trump, man? Y'all some idiots. Do y'all know what's coming after Trump? Listen, I keep telling y'all, this is a controlled demolition. That doesn't mean that the cream of the crop, creme de la creme, the elites are not going to make that money. No, people still going to make that money. But now it's time to position yourself to where, like, you have to be on the offense and the defense. Right? Y'all think Americans are so stupid and so spoiled. You think that the USD and the power of it is just going to last for forever. It's not. Right? I would love to be proved wrong. Prove me wrong. Shit. Hell. So I can continue to make USD and do what I do. But USD, the power of the USD is already in decline. That's why we're making drastic moves like Venezuela. Right? BRICS is already trying to get rid of the petrodollar or undercut the petrodollar. Right? Why? The United States wants Venezuela so they can keep the petrodollar strong. Right? Even the Saudis are not doing business with the United States like that. Saudis have been buying Russian oil. That's already been proven. And then I told y'all I was going to talk about how Nigeria is connected to the situation with Venezuela. So the United States went in to Nigeria. It was a joint operation. That's what a lot of people didn't see at first. It was a joint operation. The United States didn't just start bombing ISIS targets in Nigeria. That didn't happen. So one, it was a show of force by Nigerians on the South, which, usually are, Nigeria is actually highly religious. There's a big, Christian population in Nigeria. So it only made sense and usually the Christians on the south end of Nigeria are the ones who hold much of the economic power, right? But then again, why don't you have control over your country? But that's neither here nor there. So the United States kind of went in as sort of a favor, sort of, hey, you need to do something about this. Sort of like, well, you want to help us at least, right? That's how that went down. But y'all got to understand too, it was also a little flex because Nigeria also has for decades, they're already close with China. So y'all gotta see things on what's going on underneath, right? So Nigeria has been doing business with China, right? Venezuela has been in bed with Iran, China, Russia. So y'all gotta understand, a lot of these things weren't just, we're doing it for the surface level reason. Much of the surface level reason is a lie, first and foremost. Because when the hell did United States care about Christians being persecuted? Right? This is why United States is a big cap. Big cap. Right? United States always talking about we're going in for this and we're doing it for this. When the fuck did the United States ever care about Christians? When the hell, why the hell would you now care about Christians being persecuted in Nigeria? Motherfucker, y'all didn't care when black churches were getting bombed. Y'all didn't care then. Where was the United States then? Y'all didn't give a damn when black churches were getting bombed. Ninjas was in church getting dragged out and hung on trees. Now y'all care about Christians? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Come on now. Yeah, we care about the Christians and, bro, no. White America didn't care about their fellow Christian man when shit was going down in the South. They didn't give a damn about Christian this and Christian that. Man, miss me with that bullshit. Talking about Christians. Y'all didn't care about the goddamn Christians who were praising the Lord and trying to get a job and go to work and go home, right? Y'all burning crosses in their goddamn yards. The federal government didn't step in then. But they don't want to hear that. Niggas don't want to hear that. Niggas start leaving niggas start leaving when it get too real. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real deal, Holyfield. Niggas start leaving, they start leaving the video when it get that real. They're like, oh shit, he going too deep. That's too deep. He going too deep. That's too deep, Tap. That's too deep for him. They don't want to hear that. That's why I said the conservative movement is a fake movement. It is a pitiful movement. It is a sorry movement, right? And it's just a last ditch effort attempt to save face. That's why the dead pill, aka the red pill, is the way that it is, right? The manosphere. These all are reflective of the very state of America right now. It is the very state of America. Dead pill, red pill is full of a bunch of loser incel men who can't get no punani, who want to get married and have children, and the women don't want them. And much of these dudes don't have a pot to piss in, right? It's a last ditch effort. Many of these dudes, they want to repeal women's rights. Yeah, we need to stop women from voting. We need to stop women from going to work. That's the only way we can get ahead. Like pussy shit. That's the only way we can get ahead. We gotta squash and take rights away from women. Ain't y'all men? I'm confused. Y'all not men? You can't do this shit without trying to take. You can't do this shit without trying to take women's rights. Okay, yeah, y'all lost me there. Yeah, I'm outie. Yeah, I don't agree. Yeah, I'm out of here. See, real men know and understand. They don't have to do none of that. But it's always, the losers now have a voice. The losers now have a mic. So the dead pill, the manosphere, is now a representation of the very administration and the very state of this country right now. It's filled up with a bunch of losers who can't win, a bunch of losers on drugs, a bunch of losers who want to trample on everybody else because they can't get what they want, because they not putting in the effort to do it. So they want to trample on everybody else. They want to take shit from everybody else. So now the losers are congregating. The losers are congregating. But at the end of the day, it's the last ditch effort. It's a last ditch effort, and it's all falling apart. The dead pill has fell apart. Manosphere has fell apart. What you think is about to happen with this current state of affairs with this administration in this country right now? Y'all think it's just gonna go smooth? No, that shit is gonna fall apart too. That shit is gonna fall apart just like the dead pill is falling apart. That shit is gonna fall apart just like the manosphere is falling apart. It's gonna fall apart because it wasn't built on proper foundation. It wasn't built on proper foundation, and then since it wasn't built on proper foundation, that's when the spewing of hate started to come in. That's when the extremes start to come in. And now because that the dead pill and the manosphere has stepped into these extremes, now people are jumping ship. Now people are trying to grift. It's going to be the same thing. Look, it's the same thing with the administration. You see people now trying to posture themselves to grift, especially during midterms and especially during the next election. People trying to grift over. They're going to do the same shit to Trump that they did to him last time. They're going to try to venture themselves away from him so they can win elections. That's what's going to happen next go round. I'm telling you. But the next person is going to probably be even dumber than Trump. Hopefully not. I pray and hope that the United States does turn shit around. Why wouldn't I? But the way that this shit is going and the idiocy that exists, and me just knowing what I know, that the global world order doesn't want the United States to be dominant anymore. The global world order doesn't need the United States to be dominant anymore. The powers are moving. The powers are moving, right? The money is moving. They have other plans, right? United States is a dying country, right? The women are not reproducing. The men are docile and idiots, right? The same with Europe. The men are docile and idiots. The women are not reproducing, right? People are on drugs. People are idiots. So guess what? Who's the next round? Who's the next round of populations, right? Where's the youngest populations in the world right now? Well, you have the whole continent of Africa, which that's why China has been in Africa for the past 30 years, building up the infrastructure, building up the technology, right? Nigeria is a tech hub for the entire continent of Africa. That's why also India is next up as well, has one of the youngest populations in the world as well, youngest working populations as well. So if I'm a billionaire, if I own a company, $1 billion company, $1 trillion company, where do you think I'm about to establish my new roots at? Right? I'm about to establish my new roots in the next working class of the world. And that's not even including Latin America as well. Come on, man. Y'all better wake the fuck up. Y'all better wake the fuck up. Listen, I'm not the one in control. I'm just relaying the information. And guess what? I'm going to get my money while I'm relaying the information. Y'all think this shit is a game? The global world order does not need the United States anymore. Right? The money's gone. People are jumping ship. I already told y'all. They taking the gold. They already taking the gold and dishing it out amongst their rich friends. And then they moving. They moving on to the next big thing. Right? United States will be as long as the military industrial complex exists, with the United States being the leader of it. Yeah, United States will be always forever a big corporation where people and oligarchs and other countries and government officials can always plant their money into the United States, of course. Right? You can always build a bubble in the United States and make it rich only. Look at Miami. Look at LA, look at New York. Places like that where some of the richest people in the world, have real estate. Some of the richest people in the world go to Miami and play ball, right? They go to Miami and get them about 50 women on a boat and have a party full of cocaine too, straight from Colombia. Straight from Colombia. So this is what the global world order wants. So if you're not aware, if you're not savvy, hey, I can't help you. But the global world order is shifting. You better get caught on to it, or if not, you're just gonna be left behind. So that's all I have for you guys, man. If you want to learn how to escape, sign up for the Escape Blueprint on Patreon. I'm gonna show you how I'm doing it. I'm gonna show you why I'm doing it. I'm gonna show you the tools that you need to be able to do it. Go out there and check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. The link is in the description. Sign up for the Patreon if you want to escape the escape blueprint. All right. And also, if you want to support the YouTube, become a YouTube member. I do post videos on the YouTube member side as well. But my main thing is the Patreon, where I post all the knowledge. I post what I'm doing. I'm showing how I'm building the apps. As a matter of fact, I got to show my process, not my process, what I've been doing on the app as of late. If you're not on the Patreon, you don't know, or if you're not a YouTube member, you don't know that, but I've been building an app that I plan on utilizing for a money-making machine. So if you're not hip to that, go and check it out. And I'm also showing you what I'm currently doing and how I'm building out my escape plan and my escape route to be able to move on from the United States and live globally. All right. So the link is in the description. Go out and check out the Patreon, man. And that's all I have for you guys, man. The after pill is the ideology. The escape blueprint is the framework. And PFP life is how you should live. Purpose, freedom, and power. If you want that, come on and join the journey. Come on and join the movement, because I'm telling you, it's going to be bigger than ever going into the future. Answer this last question. Do you think America will collapse to the point we may have to leave the country? Well, it's already doing that. It's already doing that. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. People are barely getting by. It's already doing that. At this point, people are just indentured servants. You're working just to stay alive. You're working just to breathe. The convenience of staying in the United States may make it seem better, but it's not better. It's not better. Most people are living gloomy lives. Most people are walking around here hateful. Most people are walking around here depressed. That's why the pharmaceutical companies are as big as it is, because everybody's on medications, right? Come on now. So it already is. So it's either you're going to get stuck into nothingness, or you're going to move on and live an abundance life. The escape blueprint. Come over there and join. Sign up for it. And you can see what's really going on. But anyway, this was an after pill, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.